Everyday Easy Chinese.
大家好，我是 Everyday Easy Chinese 的林老师。Today we will look at 5 pairs of commonly confusing Chinese words and what you can do to avoid getting confused between them. Oh, and remember, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, subscribe below for weekly Chinese lessons. Okay, let's start. Number 1. Do you want sleep or do you want dumplings? Now these two words have completely different meanings but can sound the same if you get the tones mixed up. So sleep is pronounced as 睡觉 in Chinese, whereas 水饺 means dumplings, the steam type. So sometimes you may be able to decipher the difference between the two if there was some context or some situation. But if, for example, you were to say out of the blue, 我要睡觉, it means I want to sleep. Or if you were to out of the blue say 我要水饺, it means I want dumplings. Now as you can see, if there was no context, the listener might be confused if you get the tones mixed up. So what should you do if you still get confused between these two words? Well, actually adding in the verb might help. For example, if you want to eat dumplings, you can simply add the verb to eat, 吃, in front of the word dumplings, 水饺. And then you'll be able to form the sentence, 我要吃水饺. I want to eat dumplings. Now people will be able to easily understand what you're actually looking for. Number 2. Do you want a duvet or do you want a cup? Now, duvet is pronounced as 被子 in Chinese, whereas cup is pronounced as 杯子. So, you might be in a confusing situation when you're in the furniture store such as IKEA and the store attendant takes you to the bedding section instead of the kitchen section because you wanted a cup. Now what should you do if you still get confused between the two words? Well, if you do, measure words come in really handy here. So if you were looking for a duvet, you would use the measure word 条, which is used for long items. So you would say 我要一条被子, and you would get a duvet. And if you were looking for a cup, you would use the measure word for miscellaneous items, which is 个, and you would say 一个杯子 and get a cup. So if you get these measure words right, you won't be confused between the two items. Number 3. Are you a man or are you a Chinese character? Now, man is pronounced as 汉字 in Chinese, and this sounds quite similar to the word which means Chinese character, which is 汉字. So for example, when you're professing your love for Chinese characters to your Chinese teacher, you would say 我喜欢汉字. Make sure that you don't get confused with 汉字 and end up saying 我喜欢汉字, which means I like men. Now, what should you do if you still get confused? Well, adding in a verb here will help. So if you tell your teacher 我喜欢写汉字, they will know that you're referring to Chinese characters and that you like to write Chinese characters. Number 4. Do you want to board a boat or do you want to have fun in bed? Now both these phrases start with the character 上, which means to board, but they have completely different meanings. So the first one, 上床, means to board a bed, or in other words it means to sleep with someone, whereas the word 上船 means to board a boat. Now you can see where things may be a bit sensitive or may get a bit funny if you get the two words confused. If you still get the words confused, you can change the verb. So instead of saying 上船 to board a boat, you can also say 坐船, which also means the same thing. Number 5, teacher or mouse. The Chinese word for teacher is 老师, whereas the Chinese word for mouse is 老鼠. Now you can see that if you get these words confused, you may be inadvertently insulting your teacher. For example, if you call your teacher 林老鼠, you're actually calling them a mouse, whereas the correct term would be 林老师. Now, what happens if you still get confused between them? Well, if you listen carefully, although both words begin with the character 老, in the case of mouse, 老鼠, the first character, 老, actually changes to the second tone. Now this is a basic rule when there are two third tone characters together. You change the first one to the second tone. Also, in Chinese, there isn't a distinction between different types of rodents, for example hamsters, which are quite cute, or rats, which people really hate. So that's why you shouldn't expect your teacher to think that you're calling them an endearing term if you call them 老鼠, because there's no distinction. So that's it from our video on 5 pairs of commonly confusing Chinese words. 你喜欢水饺吗? Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel for weekly Chinese lessons to help you achieve your goals. See you next time.